I'd like to give you a gift with your permission. This Sunday, we meet in One Mountain, Many Paths, a place where we're convening the beginnings of a world religion as a context for our diversity, the beginnings of a shared story of value to respond to the meta crisis, because the meta crisis can't be engaged without actually changing not only our infrastructure, the technological structures, not only our social structure, our politics. We have to change our superstructure, the very essence of our culture, our interiors, which always means the story of value in which we live. So with that in mind, this Sunday in One Mountain, Many Paths, which is the Sunday at the end of Hanukkah, a week before Christmas, in this moment of Holy Day, and we're 6 months ahead of Ramadan, which I believe the next one's coming up in June. But in this moment of Holy Day, I want to give you this gift if you'll allow me to. If you're a regular participant in One Mountain, Many Paths, I can't wait to see you. And there's an extended gift. Again, with your permission, you have to ask permission to give someone a gift, which I would love to give you. And if you're not someone who comes regularly, this is a good time to give yourself a treat. We're going to meet at 1 o'clock. We actually always start at 12:45. Krista opens up with chant. And at 1 o'clock, we're going to go into a discussion on the following. How do we actually read the texts of culture? And the texts of culture, they live somewhat in the news and in our news feeds, somewhat in our social media feeds, but generally those are siloed and expressive of the public positions of culture, but it's not really what culture is feeling or breathing or throbbing. It's not actually the story that's animating culture. And if we want to articulate a new story of value, if we want to evolve the story, we need to know, where's the story now? What's the story now? So where does that story live? What's the campfire around which we gather and tell stories? Movies, cinema. It used to be books, no longer in the same way. Movies are the place that we tell stories. And to some extent, the movie maker tells the story, the writers. But in movies that are important, culture hijacks the pen, if you will, using pen metaphorically in our age of computers. Culture, eros, what we sometimes call she, spirit, the goddess, the Tao, Atman and Brahman, interiority, hijacks the movie and speaks through the movie, irrespective of what the intention of the writers are. And the movie then reveals what culture's really thinking and feeling, both for good and for bad, both for divinity and for disaster, both the potential promise and the utter peril, both that which ruptures and that which perhaps has a hint of potential rapture. And that's about the end of my alliterations that I can do with the same letter. So I'm going to stop there. So this Sunday, be with us. We've been talking about for the last, since the summer, since the movie Barbie came out, the seemingly irrelevant movie about a doll, we've been talking a little bit about Barbie. We talked about it at our mystery school in Europe at the end of August and the beginning of September. We talked about it in several One Mountain engagements. I don't know if we call them meetings or episodes or whatever we call One Mountain. right? But in several one mountains, let's just make it one mountains. We'll make it its own word, right? In several one mountains, we've talked about Barbie. We've talked about it myself with my friend Topher, who studies with me in the Holy of Holies, which is our private study structure. We've talked about it, and with Christina Amelon and with Jamie. And so this Sunday, I was going to talk about it with them, but they very graciously, as it were, invited us into their study structure. And their study structure is always on Sundays after One Mountain. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have an extended One Mountain this Sunday, hosted by Krista, our executive director, and hosted by David and Jacques and Lilith, who are, deep in our One Mountain team, and hosted by Shahati, who's in our One Mountain team, and Claire, but particularly by Topher and Jamie and Christina Amelon, who are inviting us into the study process they would have done privately. And we're going to have this conversation. So it's going to start at 1. Okay, it's going to go on. The people I just mentioned was just to honor them because they're such great people and they're going to be our hosts, as it were. So they're going to be kind of holding space, but you're stuck. I'm going to be doing the talking, so sorry about that. And we're going to do this kind of crazy deep dive into Barbie. If you've been to all of our prior discussions about it, this is going to add and organize the whole thing for you. If you haven't been to any of our prior discussions, you'll be able to follow it perfectly. But we're going to do 2 things. We're going to look at why Barbie matters so much, A, but more importantly, how do you read a movie? Right? And it's a gift, a 1-day gift training seminar. And of course, there was talk about it because, of course, we have to fund the center. Let's make this a special seminar, and we'll make $20,000 on it. We'll be able to fund a project, which is a very good idea. But we're not going to do that. I just want to give you a Christmas gift. Okay, a Hanukkah, Christmas, future Ramadan, just because gift. A several-hour training. So it's going to start at 1. It's going to end, I don't know, at 3, 4, something like that. It'll take a couple hours. But we're just going to get together. We're going to sit around the campfire. We're going to go through this Barbie movie, and we're going to look at clips, explain them. But we're also going to talk about how you read a movie so that you can actually walk out and begin to see how you actually can read culture, which is actually one of the ways that you listen to Goddess. It's one of the ways you listen to she, right? It's actually a critical part of sense making. It's a critical part of the sensuality of sense making. And part of becoming the new human and the new humanity is to stop listening to what the legacy media tells you should understand a movie to mean, and actually do sense making yourself. Begin to develop the tools, the capacity, right, to read a movie, to read its subtext, to see what's driving it. So you begin to kind of make sense with what's actually happening around you. And then you can begin to participate, right, in charting the course of the future, because you're able to read the maps around you. So this is a one-time only, a special Christmas Hanukkah gift. It's a sense-making, reading texts of culture, reading movies, reading the new stories of culture seminar. Our particular object that we're going to operate on, if you will, is going to be the Barbie movie. Whether you've been to our previous discussions or haven't doesn't matter. And I can't wait to be with you. This is going to take my day. So if you're up to meet me, you might have to cancel some stuff. That's okay. Cancel some stuff, right? Me too. Let's actually get together and learn this and become something of the new human. We call this the move from Homo sapien to Homo Amor. And Homo Amor is a genus. It's the individual human, and it's the new kind of humanity where we're not just propagandized. The legacy medias don't just tell us what's going on. We actually begin to discern ourselves, not in a kind of conspiratorial way, which lacks evidence, but actually reading what culture's actually saying directly. What's culture saying, but reading between the lines, right? It's always happening between the lines. So this is going to be kind of ridiculously exciting. I want to ask you to bring a glass of wine, maybe two, or water if you're on a 12 steps program, right? Bring some popcorn. You need popcorn, right? Popcorn's important. Let's gather around and let's do this together. Okay? Mad love. Thank you.